Coming to a store near you in 2019, it's the Update Simulator. In this game, you'll get to experience everything the best and worst updates in gaming have to offer. But pre-order now and you'll get yourself the worst update of all time. Just dial this number right here below and you yourself can get a taste of what it's like to play Fallout 76 for more than 3 minutes. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, Update Simulator 2020. And if you call in the next 5 minutes, we'll even throw in one of these absolutely atrocious shirts, because we know there are people out there that want to look like a weird mix of Scarface and me. I didn't turn on the lights before I picked this shirt this morning, just when you thought it couldn't get worse. Welcome to Too Tall Desk. Today we are talking about maybe the worst game update of all time. That's right, you've seen a lot on Too Tall Desk. You've seen the demise of games, you've seen the defending of games, you've seen pretty much everything, but what you haven't seen is an update of this caliber. Now, I haven't talked about Fallout 76 proper in, well, pretty much the same amount of time since the last Kim Kardashian video camera joke, if you know what I'm saying. Doing a lot of free advertising on this channel for a lot of websites that I don't think YouTube wants me accidentally advertising for, but shh. But today's not about Kim Kardashian jokes, the absolutely strangest member of the Kardashian family of species of genuses of things. Today is about Fallout 76 becoming maybe, just maybe, the strangest game to still be alive. I mean, it's worth pointing out that while Anthem has slipped out of the top 50 most played games on Xbox Live, while Anthem is being viewed by 40 people daily on Twitch, Fallout 76 still has a pretty good community. In fact, it's got enough of a community to still be in the top 35 most played games on Xbox One, and it's still doing numbers. But updates like these aren't gonna help. Today's update has 3 parts. First is how it affects the gameplay. Second is what it adds in. And third is how it affects the community. Now you might be thinking to yourself, Tyler, I don't play Fallout 76 anymore. I don't care. Well, welcome to summer 2019. No one does. That's not the point. The point is, be wary of the future. Fallout 76 does not have a PTS, or a public test server. When an update is ready, it just kind of goes live. The Bethesda just puts it out there for everybody to play with. And time again, that is proving to be unintelligent and not the right way to release these updates. I'm going to talk first about the most remarkably awful thing about this update, because if you need more proof that the Bethesda you once knew is gone, this should be enough proof for you to go, okay, I get it now. When I was younger, and about middle school, I had a conversation with a kid named Chad, and that name is not a joke. He was Chad, and he is exactly what his name sounds like. He insisted to me that the sky was only blue because the moon was blue. I told Chad, look up in the sky. What do you see? He said, a sky. I said, that's right, Chad, and what color is it? Chad said, blue. I said to Chad, and what color is the moon? He said, blue. I said to Chad, do you know who Tom Hanks is? Yes, I do. Okay, cool. Have you seen Apollo 13? Yes. What color was the moon in that movie? Gray. First off, I commend Chad for knowing his films. I said to Chad, why was it gray there? And Chad says, they didn't have the money to make the moon blue in the movie. I said, Chad, honey, they had the money to build a fake rocket ship, have it go to the moon. They had the money to make the whole moon digitally, and they had the money to pay for Tom Hanks, but they didn't have the money to make the moon blue. Yes, Tyler, blue is an expensive color in film. Baby Chad did in fact say film, by the way, so he was light years ahead of us uneducated troglodytes. So upon returning to class, this is at the end of PE, I go up to our teacher, who happens to be our science teacher. Her name was Miss Beezus. That's not her real name, but I just want to give her privacy, but I'm older now, so I don't know. I say to Miss Beezus, I say, Miss Beezus, can you please tell Chad what color the moon is? She says gray. Chad looks dead at Miss Beezus and says, that's exactly what I'd expect out of you, Miss Beezus. Keep teaching. A little kid. The point I'm making here is that some people never know when to quit. Some people don't know when to stop. No matter how wrong they know they are, they just keep going and going and going, because at some point, being wrong stops phasing them. And being right no longer matters. In the most recent update of Fallout 76, Bethesda once again implemented something they promised they would not do. Another microtransaction that affects the gameplay of Fallout 76. Remember, all microtransactions will be cosmetic. None of it will affect gameplay. Oh, but here's these repair kits that take the grind out of the game, allow you to get further, faster than other people, and allow you to skip all the stuff that the players without the money have to do. That was the first step. Now, we have what they're calling scrap kits, which can only be purchased with 50 atoms, which is 50 cents. And what that means is the only way you can get a scrap kit is if you pay real money for it. It scraps your junk and deposit it in your stash. What this really means is that it's saving you time. You don't have to do those things on your own. And it means that when you die, you don't really have to have the fear of where's all my stuff gonna end up? I get to keep it all. You'll be good. So it keeps a lot of players' scrap safe, whereas the other players that can't afford it, if they don't manually do it, they're gonna miss out on that. Now, not really a big deal. Here's why it actually is. First off, that's not a cosmetic microtransaction. That is a gameplay affecting microtransaction. It's not as pay to win as the repair kits, but it's certainly gameplay affecting. But that's not what's important about this. What's important about this is the only way to get it is to pay for it, number one. And number two, while they're worried about implementing more microtransactions, while this studio is worried about implementing more things you have to pay for as a player, the game is still an absolutely broken, content deplete mess. Instead of focusing on the parts of the update that are going to fix the game, they focus on, once again, more microtransactions. This is another studio saying, we know our game doesn't work right, we know you're upset, we know that this is not what it should be. But we also have to get more money out of the people that are still here, so, you know, we know you'll be here no matter what, so screw you guys. Like a really terrible parent. You're 12 years old, you can't move out. What are you gonna do about it? And so you march up to your room and accidentally punch your sister dead in the face, because what else are you gonna do? You're stuck. You're there. Bethesda is once again taking advantage of the people that are still there instead of fixing it. And this is important because the rest of this update was a total nightmare. We'll get to the bugs and glitches, but let's talk about how ridiculous Bethesda has made this game. You can earn atoms, not very reasonably and not very quickly, but the things that you pay for things like repair kits and scrap kits, where you can earn them very slowly. You can also pay for them, which means you technically can earn scrap kits. They wouldn't be a good use of your atoms or premium currency or money, but you could. This new update has changed that as well to force even more people into these microtransactions. Originally, when you started the game, there were a bunch of quests that gave you a bunch of atoms, gave you a nice little starting point. That way, you weren't forced right towards the microtransactions. They were there, but it didn't seem like they were forcing you to making these purchases or trying to push you towards them from moment one. Now, in an attempt to push you even further towards microtransactions, they've removed that with this update as well. And even shadier, they've made up the worst excuse imaginable for doing it by pretending like they're doing you a favor. Before the update, when you first started the game, as Ethan Gatch points out, players used to be able to collect these atoms by completing basic challenges early in the game. In an effort to make the early game less harsh, apparently, Bethesda has replaced those atoms with useful items like stim packs and disease cures. But it didn't add those atoms back in anywhere else, effectively decreasing the amount players can initially earn just by playing the game. Bethesda's the star of a To Catch a Predator episode airing on NBC that walks into the house, and when what's-his-name pops up going, "Please have a seat," he tells you, "I was just here to tell his parents that he was sending bad messages and he shouldn't be doing this. If I leave, am I gonna get arrested?" And that tall drink of water that looks like a giant, weird version of Slender Man tells him, "You're free to leave." Before walking outside to a SWAT team that is apparently prepared for the Incredible Hulk to walk out of that building. Got the entire NYPD out there and all of the FBI for some 30-year-old, 4-foot-tall troll from an episode of South Park. Can't imagine the amount of resources that cost. The point is, they're the people that do something terrible, but tell you they're doing it for you. They're here to help. That's not only shady, but it's insulting. No one is that stupid. No one is dumb enough to believe that. And there are people that will defend this decision and say, well, it is nice to have those items early. Not really. And if it is true, even if it is nice to have them early, at least put the atoms back into other early challenges that exist just after the beginning of the game. Put them somewhere else. Give them back to players. Don't just take them away altogether. As for the rest of the update, well, let's go over what else it deliciously did to Fallout 76. Legendary loot no longer dropping from enemies that should be dropping the legendary loot in the first place. Suddenly those drop rates don't exist. There's also these new areas on the game's map where essentially if you walk anywhere near them or into them, you just are deceased. You die. That's it. It's over. You're dead. Literally just walking into certain zones of the map. Literally just walking into them. They've been dubbed death zones on Reddit. Obviously not a part of the game that should exist. But thankfully, Bethesda made improvements to the power armor system. Now, when you log into your game, your power armor just may have disappeared altogether. Or better yet, they may have cloned some of your power armor, so you are over encumbered and have nowhere to go. A lot of people are reporting that now their power armor that's customized and they worked hard to get is just gone. They're not gonna get it back, it's just gone, poof. That's it, this update just removed it. Other people now have duplicates of the power armor that they had before. I mean, you should see this Reddit post. It's been corroborated onto Reddit. It's been congealed together with everybody's. I mean, this is insane. There are so many issues with this patch that it actually reads like a set of actual patch notes. Certain items like the picket fence being totally unusable. Opening the social tab, sometimes with a certain amount of friends, will crash the game or freeze it altogether. And the best part is, the part of the update that Bethesda really pushed publicly, the whole power armor fix, didn't fix the power armor system all that well in the first place. All the changes that were made are, according to the community, the hardcore player that would know it best, incredibly underwhelming. Something that needs to be revisited. In fact, this Reddit post that I'm showing you here, or just showed you, because I don't know how to YouTube, points out that very specific thing. So now we're on to the commentary portion of today's piece. I don't want to make this video sound like this is an exception. It's not. Most of Fallout 76's updates over the course of its life, even with some good ones sprinkled in, have broken more than they fixed, have caused more problems than they fixed, have done more ridiculous things than even thought imaginable. This is not an exception. It's one of the worst, but it's not the worst, and it's not the exception. In my opinion, this is probably the worst update to a game I have seen maybe ever in an incredibly long time, but I know there are those that are gonna disagree with me about that. But my job here with my stupid shirts is to just give you guys an idea of what's going on with the hot games on the market, with the games that people are playing, let you know what's going on with the biggest players in the industry. Once again, consumer advocacy. Let you know what these companies are doing, when they're doing it, and let you inform your decision moving forward as to what you're going to or going to not purchase from these companies. And that's why I want to make it abundantly clear that this is the new Bethesda. This is what this company is going to be. If this game, Fallout 76, was an outlier, if this was just a one-off thing and they were trying to figure it out, they would recognize what the community is saying, fix the problems, and not be focused on overtly continuing to monetize the game, continuing to focus on cosmetics, continuing to focus on microtransactions. They'd be focused on the game itself. And none of that other stuff would matter. But they're not. And they're not going to be in the future. Bethesda at this point is this company. This is what you're going to get moving forward. The reason this is important is because Starfield, whatever it is, Bethesda's next-gen RPG, which is being rumored to be a close to launch day game for these next generation of systems, is gonna be this Bethesda. Now, I don't know what that means for the game. I don't know how that will affect it, but it's gonna be the same company with the same attitude and the same approach. That doesn't mean the game's gonna be multiplayer only or riddled with microtransactions. It just means that it's gonna be the same business doing the same things. Nothing's gonna change it. The same thing with the next Skyrim game. And that means that we have to create a new kind of expectation for Bethesda that aligns closer to what they're doing today and not what they were doing in the Morrowind days or the Oblivion days. This Bethesda is a different company. It's a different suite of developers. It's a different publisher. We have to recognize that. Somewhere Josh is sitting on a couch with Drake, playing his game Sphere, not dealing with any of this. But that day is not today. That day is over. It's no longer spherical. Modern gaming does not exist that way. Modern gaming does not exist in that fashion anymore. You don't just pop in a game, sit down, and play it. And Bethesda seems to know that, and they're going to continue to take advantage of that. Do with that information what you will. I will tell you at this point, there's no more beating around the bush. I don't like to tell you what to buy or not to buy. What I can tell you is that Fallout 76 costs more than $5, you're paying too much for it. Right now, the game is improving here and there, but I don't know if it's recoverable at this point. I'm just not sure, even with its improvements. So there's that. Now I want to know what you guys think. What is the worst update you've ever seen in a game? More importantly, if Fallout 76, much like Anthem, went free to play, would you hop in? If this game was free, would you give it a chance? Is there enough there foundationally for getting the money, for getting the monetization, for you to want to play this game? Let me answer any of those questions down in the comments below. It's a real conversation as always. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. If you are not yet subscribed to this here channel of stuff, press subscribe. I put out more videos like this. Sometimes, when they come. Yes. What else? Oh yes, hit the bell. Hit the bell, I always say that, that's really important. It has been helping a little bit, by the way. Not enough, but people have been hitting the bell. People are actually getting the videos when they hit the bell. That's good news. I keep getting those comments. Now that I hit the bell, I'm receiving the videos when they come out. Good. Keep hitting the bell, because otherwise you will never know that I exist on this platform. I'm gonna try to find the one person in my comments that doesn't want to burn this shirt. I'm out.